Alright, so quick introduction. I am Gumya Mang. I am based out of Mumbai, but since this lockdown, I have been staying in Punjab.
Okay, nice.
I used to trade professionally before for Futures First. So that is
Okay,
almost a long time back. After that, I moved into the data science field. So now I work as a data scientist.
okay.
You know when it's visible.
It's loading right now. It's visible now.
Okay, so I mostly look at charts on tradingview.com only. I find it's the best source to look at the charts very seamlessly. So I have my watch list set up accordingly on there and then take trades based on the price action that I'm seeing right here on the chart itself.
Hmm.
I mostly trade with Share Khan only.
Okay,
So broadly in swing trading and even long-term investing, there are three kinds of things that I like to do. So I'm going to take through all of those things and how do we identify those setups.
okay,
Okay. So first thing first, the most important thing is that I don't look at anything else apart from the candles and the volume. I think every indicator is a lagging indicator. So I trust only this. The broad objective is always to find out in the chart where do you see maximum support and maximum resistance. So try to go on near the support and try to book the profits at the resistance.
okay.
So also the best thing to identify stocks for swing trading is to see the ones which have the highest momentum with them. Momentum is your true friend. It gives you the highest probability of attaining the profit in your trades. The way to identify momentum is to see usually which stocks are hitting their all-time highs much before Nifty is doing that. So the simplest filter criteria set is just look for stocks which are at the all-time high and Nifty is still significantly away from the highs. So basically that we put in, the list of stocks that we would be actively looking will be very different because in different time periods, different sectors have the momentum going with them.
Hmm.
Right now, I would say it's mostly chemicals and pharma sectors which have the biggest momentum going on with them. So majority of the stocks in the watch list right now would belong to those sectors only. Alright. So to identify whether the stock is at its all-time high, it's the simplest thing. I mean, just go to the monthly level chart. Let's say I am like I bought India. I work in the chart. So if I look at the monthly chart for this, I can clearly see it is continuously making new highs. It's at the current at the all-time highs only. And the best way to find that is always look at what Nifty was doing when it was at its previous high. So let's see. Nifty's high was around here in January. Let's go to weekly. Okay. So around January 20 January Nifty was at its high and around 23rd March week it was around its lows. So our objective is to find the stocks which are hitting their all-time highs when Nifty is in this region. Yeah,
Okay.
Nifty is yet to reach its all-time high, but these stocks have already started reaching the highs. So GAC's work shows that they have significant momentum going behind them. And by the time the Nifty reaches its all-time high, these stocks would have almost gone double, triple from the current prices.
Okay.
So that's the easiest way to identify potential future multi-baggers also. Just find out which ones are having the highest momentum. So the best way I find to go long on stocks for long-term investment is as soon as they hit their all-time high, just go longer. And then keep holding till the time they fail to make a new all-time high along with Nifty. So it's all a relative process. As long as the stock is continuously in momentum and it is continuously hitting new highs along with Nifty, it's fine. As soon as it stops doing that, that is the time to get out of the position for extremely long-term investing.
Okay.
And how do you find stocks? How do you find the list of stocks which are close to their highs first thing? So you can go to the NSE website itself. That is a good filter. So if I look at NSE website, it gives me this green color coding. This is for 52-week highs, but if I see something is in the green color coding, and then I can go and manually check the chart for that stock and see if it can potentially be at its all-time high, and also just filter this by a 365-day percent change. I mean, usually the best thing is to just sort by 365-day change. So anything which is at all-time high will always have a very positive change. It will be in the top stocks here only. So, so example in Nifty, if I look at so Reliance, Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, Britannia, all four are hitting their highs. Even Nestle is at all-time high. But Tata Motors is not, Bharti Airtel is not, then Tata Steel is not, M&M is not, Sun Pharma is not, Maruti is not, Unilever is also. Unilever did hit its all-time high before, but now it is just cut. It's a special case. We will discuss those scenarios also. So this is from Nifty. You can do this similarly for all the watch list that NSE itself has. So in Nifty Next 50, it gives me what are the top stocks going here. So Divis, Muthoot, Biocon, Abbott, Torrent, all of them are at all-time highs only. Cadila is not at the high, so we ignore this. Then Naukri, Virgin Paint is also not there, we ignore this. Kmart also we ignore. Although looping IGL, we all ignore this. The objective is to find out the ones which are at the highs and just pick them. So in the next 50, these five at the all-time highs, so they go into the watch list. Similarly, look for Nifty next 50, which ones are doing the best. Alright, so I have Adani Green, Escorts, Idea, ISEC, Jingle Skill, Tata.com. Amounts case, Adani Green has a huge liquidity issue because I see that every day it's either hitting the upper circuit or
Yeah.
the lower circuit. It's not having a free movement. So
Hmm.
liquidity is a very, very important filter. So do not enter stocks which don't have liquidity.
Yeah, that's like a basic thing in trading
Yeah,
anyway, so.
yeah. So on this risk, I can pick up Escorts. It is good. Then Idea way away from the all-time high, so completely ignore. ICICI Securities again ignore. Jingle Steel ignore. Tata.com ignore. IPCA can be picked up. Coromandel, APL, Bayer Crop, Jubilant, Gujarat Gas. These can be picked up. Balkrishna ignore. Atul ignore. Mindtree again ignore. I mean, because these are not at their all-time highs only, hence we are ignoring. And Pi Industries again we can pick up. Alchem we can pick up. SRF I'm not really sure. I will have to check the charts, but probably SRF is also at all-time highs only. And LTI we can also probably include. So that would probably be about it from this list.
Okay.
Do the same thing for small cap 250 also, exactly the same thing.
So you don't worry about how the company actually is. Like if you're into small cap now, so these some of these companies are like you don't know much about them, but we don't care. As long as
I
it
don't care.
is, yeah, it is, as long as it is not very shady, like hitting up the
Yeah,
circuits
yeah,
liquidity. Yeah, so,
yeah.
all right.
And
Hmm.
do a very, very basic check on screener for that. So whenever you're entering a company, you go to screener and just do a very basic check that, yeah,
It
I
should not
mean,
be pump and up or something. That's it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, this is kind of profit and losses. Okay, things are increasing, profits are increasing more or less. Balance sheet also look at the borrowing section. Like the borrowings are not very, very high.
Hmm.
So just do a very basic check that, yeah, okay, fundamentals broadly seem alright. So, okay, it's alright, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but apart from that, I keep it very clear that I don't understand fundamentals at all. I don't know what are good fundamentals, what are bad fundamentals. So I try to keep my trading separate. Trading is purely technical for me.
Hmm.
I find the best stocks. So always look for the stocks which are the sector leaders, like the sector leaders which are big momentum and hitting their all-time highs. That's the best thing. So automatically you will find out the best ones only.
Hmm.
And so if a sector has 10 companies, then don't select the 6, 7, 8 company out of it. Select between the top 3 companies of it.
Ah, okay.
So that also gives you a very good fundamental filter.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So that's about selecting the stocks. So now when I have all of them in my watch list, so I have this watch list called as highs. So all of these stocks that I've selected are at their all-time highs only.
Yeah.
Alright, now so the most preferred time period that I have for swing trading is the 75-minute chart. So 75 minute allows me to capture the market's movement in 5 candles itself. So the problem with 1 hour chart is that the last 15 minutes also gets counted as a candle in that. So it doesn't give the correct representation of the actual 1 hour candles. And also it gives me perfect sync between the time frames also. So I look at 3 minutes, 15 minutes, 75 minutes, daily, weekly, monthly. So it's almost a factor of 5 in all the time frames.
Yeah.
So hence 75 works very, very well for me. And, oh, so once all the basic checks are done, everything is done, then I stick to the default 75-minute time frame only. Right. Now the basic objective here is to find out, look at the chart and find out good green candles with decent volumes at a support point. So go long at the support point, and then the first and immediate target that I usually keep is the previous all-time high. So target the previous the region along the previous all-time highs only.
Hmm.
That is the first and immediate target. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. Alkira means the trade which we did in Alkira means somewhere around this region was C. Look at this. So it is continuously in an uptrend. So this is a
Yeah.
very healthy sign that the stock is in an uptrend. Usually the gradient of the chart should be increasing only.
Hmm.
So now if I look here, and the usual targets that we look for is that profit booking targets of around 8 to 10%, usually 8%,
Hmm.
and stop losses, trying to keep the stop losses below 5%. So that gives a good risk to reward of 1:2.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see, when this is happening, what we see here is that Alchem, sorry, this is Alkylamine. So it hit its high of around 2450, 2460. Now this has come down to 2250 region. So if I were to take an entry somewhere here and then target the high, it will give me approximate 7 to 8%. So I can look for entries around this region. Now, when it is falling, I need to start looking for where it is taking support. So here it came, it started going up here. So this was one support it took here. But previously the support was not there. So this was not identified as such. But so we wait, we keep waiting, we keep waiting. The stock is continuously going in this region and continuously having good support made. And then we look for big green candles with good volumes. So I mean volumes compared to the red ones. So then when this time comes around, that this green candle, it is having higher volumes than the previous all the previous red candles. Okay, all of these, and it's a good green closing. So when this comes along, that's when we take a decision that okay, enough support has been made here, so I can decide to take a long here at 2280, and then the stop process are the close on the same time frame below the support.
Okay, yeah, that's also very standard. So yeah.
Yeah. So so I'm taking trades based on 75-minute chart. A close below the support on 75-minute charts is my stop loss. So the first target that we usually go for is the previous high. So we target around 2460, 2480, somewhere around this region only.
So you ended up exiting there.
Why didn't you take a trade at around 25, that green?
This one you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue here that becomes is that if I take a trade at 2330, so look at what is my profit target from here. So trades are always taken always on the closing of the candle only. When the confirmation comes that the candle has closed and the good confirmation is coming. So if I have to take a trade around this region 2330 and my target is around 2460, it's only 130 rupees. So that is only 6%. So usually I wouldn't go for a 6% trade, wherein from 2330 my stop loss is at a close below 2225. So my stop loss is almost 110 rupees. So a stop of 110 rupees with a target of 130 rupees from a risk reward perspective doesn't make much sense to me. And also the maximum profit that I'm targeting here is only 6%. I usually want to go for trades which can give me at least 8%. Have the scope to go 8%. I mean, if there is a scope to go 10%, then they would probably go 8% and hit your targets. So always look at what is the stop loss that you will be facing here. So the stop loss here itself is very huge, 110 rupees. And compared to that, the reward is only 130. So the risk reward setup doesn't make much sense. And the absolute reward also is only 6%. So absolute reward is also less. So let's see Biocon. So Biocon, so we have been taking a lot of trades. In fact, yeah, let's see this region only. Okay. So look at this. It has been making a good support around the 380 region. And the highs are at 440 region. So Biocon came down, and then we start looking for good green candles to go long. Okay. So this green candle was a good point. So at 402, so I entered a long right here only when this green good green candle came, big green candle with good volumes at a support. So since 380 was my support, if I'm going long at 400, my target sets around 440. My stop loss goes at previous highs. These are around 370, 360, 370 region almost. So with that stop loss in mind, I decided to take a trade here, and then you just keep waiting, and then I see that okay, if I am seeing one more re-entry coming in and the chance to improve my pricing before my stop loss is hit. So when this happened, okay, it fell down, it went up with this huge volumes and big green candle, and this was a chance to improve the price. So I went long here again to just improve my price. So this second position that I went long with, so this second position I squared off right here at the most immediate resistance level. So I can see the most immediate resistance that is coming is at 415, 416 region. So this second trade that I took to improve my pricing from, so my original trade was at 402, second trade I took at 390 and just squared off at the immediate resistance of 415. So effectively what happened is this small trade helped me improve my price of 402 by almost 20 rupees. So my effective buying price now became 380. So from 380 my targets are somewhere around this region only. Yesterday it went till around 434. If they had gone up more 3-4 rupees, I would have probably booked out. So anytime it hits the 438 to 440 region, I would be looking to start booking out my trade. Let's see Coromandel. So look at Coromandel. See, usually what is happening here is that this was the previous high, an important high, and this was a low here. Lot of trading, I mean, in fact, lots of bottoms here around 715 to 725 this region. Lots and lots of bottoms. So ideally support would be somewhere around this region. So we wait for Coromandel to come here. Then as soon as it hits this, and this green candle came, but it came with very low volumes. Since ideally the volume should be at least higher than all the previous red candles. So this came with low volume. So the the signal was there, it's just the volumes were not there. So when finally this candle came with decent volumes, so these are higher than most of the previous candles, the volumes in this one. Okay, see, so when this good green candle came, big green candle came, so that's when we took a long, like around 758, 755 region, and target immediately becomes the previous highs at around 820 region. So whenever it went up, yeah, like around 820. So I mean, it hit the targets 1, 2, 3, 4 times, lots of times, but somewhere around this point, we got the exit. And I think Nightcracker also took this trade along with me, if I'm not mistaken. So look at this point. When we are at 757, you are targeting around 820. So it's a target of around 63, 64 rupees, which is in line with our 8% usual guidance. In fact, it's slightly more than 8% only. And our stop losses are around, I would say, now that this has become a support, so ideally it would be a close below this only. So the stop loss turns out to be around 35 rupees something. So from risk reward perspective, it becomes a good trade. And also I'm able to target the full 8% that I want. So this was a simple straightforward trade to take. Let's see, I got some lots of examples. So let's see Gujarat Gas. Okay, so in the long-term perspective, if I see Gujarat Gas making a lot of support at around this 280 region, continuously it is having, see how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7, 8 bottoms being made at around this 285 region. So I look out for potential entry points around here. Let's see now where the good green candles are coming in. So around this support region, I start seeing candles here. So for example, these candles, this candle, or yeah, this region if I see, I'm already seeing green candles coming in. And this candle also has a green candle with high volume, so probably this can also be taken as an entry point. Or this can also be taken as an entry point. I mean anything, either is fine. So usually you try to go long here and then you simply target for the previous high. So along at here, and this is your support region only, and then target the previous high. So around 330 regions. So go along here, you book here, and then you keep looking for further entries wherever you are able to get. Now we see that this is becoming a new support region around 300 to 304. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 bottoms here and good green candles coming from here. So again, good green candle coming from here. So this seems to be becoming a good support region. Let's see, but this green candle doesn't have the volumes. I mean, if these volumes are even lesser than the previous smaller red candle. So I will
Yeah.
ignore this for the time being. Let's see if it gives another good green candle with good volumes. That would be our trigger to go long here itself again. So 300 seems to be becoming a good support here. Let's see IOLCP. So IOLCP it went up, went down. Then it started making a bit supporting around this region. So around 720, then the bottom started shifting upwards, slightly upwards. So when I saw that this big green candle is coming in, so this support got made, then finally the support is getting made, and when this green candle, so this one green candle, this second green candle, both of them were the good entry points. I took the trade right here itself when I got this green candle with which has higher volumes than the previous candles and the green. So around 757 itself, I went down. Then it did nothing for a few days. Again, it gave another entry point if someone wanted. So at 747, if someone wanted, they could have taken another entry if they wanted to improve their price by 10 rupees. But I decided not to do that. 10 rupees is, I mean, okay, it's just 1.5%. Not much meaningful price improvement. And then your target simply becomes around 835 region. So from 757 long, your target again becomes around 835 region, which got hit here. So that is how the trade became. The simple objective is just keep finding out where the support has been made and then look for good green candles on the support with decent enough volumes, which are higher than the previous candles. Go long, keep the stop losses below the support, and just try for the previous highs. So that's about it. Now I see that IOR is again coming to its previous support region only. This is all the support region only. So waiting for a good green candle to come here with very high volumes. Right now, till now the entry trigger has not come. And I think if it has to go up, then another signal will definitely come in. And then again it becomes a good trade. So if a signal comes by probably 780, so from 780, then in fact you have the option to exit at around 860 regions only. You don't even need to wait for the new high or the previous highs, because 780 to 860 itself gives you more than 8%, which is more than sufficient. And also being mindful of the fact that big rectangles have come from this region. and the previous highs, there are a lot of previous highs are around 850, 860 region. So probably this might just become a resistance zone. So I cleared around somewhere here, 780 region, targeting 860, 855, 860 region will be a good trade to make if we get that potential entry. So if the stock is coming to its support levels, it doesn't mean that you have to take the trade. Always wait for the confirmation, wait for the signal to come in. Let's see, Polymer. Yeah. So see, in Polymer, I have taken a lot of trades when I see that a lot of supports are being made around this region. Then this was the high. Then it fell down again. It gave this big green candle with decent enough volumes. So this was one entry point at around 400 and targeting the highs of around 431, 432 with stop losses right here below this support of 377. Stop losses right here only. So I held it, then for a few days it did nothing, and then in one candle itself it just jumped up and hit the target. So that trade was done, or done and dusted. Then again, similar thing happened. Then it hit the high, it fell down at the support region. It started taking some support, and then finally did this good green candle came with high volumes. So this was the point to again go long. I went long here again and booked it at the previous highs of around 445, 446. So got out. I mean, this was a very quick trade, happened in two candles itself. Got the previous high of 445 right here. So this became the entry point with stop losses below here. And again now Polymed, it fell down along with Navatech, fell down, and then when these green candles came with high volumes, again I took a trade here at 412 and booked it at the previous highs of around 455, 456 region. So it got triggered here. It went also slightly ahead from there, but that's okay. I mean, my objective is to be consistent with the strategy. Like, okay, so if I get my entry point, I take the trade, and as long as my risk reward are all fine, and I target the previous highs here, get out of it. So in a small time frame, in August itself, I got, August to September till now, I got 3 trades in this one stock itself, which is continuously making new highs. But so as soon as it falls down, keep looking for entry points in that. Let's take an example of Syngene. So you see, look at Syngene in this region. So this was a very strong support at around 400 when it was filling here. It went up, and then when it started falling down from 400, it took this good green candle with huge volumes. So this was the point to go long at 425 and target the 470, 475 region. So go long here, target till this region, and then this trade got done. Because this was the previous support made already, and good green candles at the support with good volumes. Yeah, point to go down. Now let's see. Now it has been making good supports at 460 region itself. So I'm waiting for a good green candle to come in here with decent volumes to decide to go long again. So 460 to probably 450 region, anywhere in this region. This seems to be a good support forming in a long time. So let's see where does the entry signal come in. Let's see, going pharma. Okay, so current pharma has been making a good support at a base of 2240. So it has been playing between 2240 to 2640, this 400 point range a lot of time. Again, when this happened, okay, So in 75-minute chart, this is not really visible. So the same thing can be done on daily level chart also. So if you look at this point in the daily level chart, what happened here was that at the support region, a good green candle came at the daily chart with good volumes. So on the daily chart, this was a good entry point coming in. So you could have taken an entry here and targeted the previous highs around here only and booked out somewhere here. That in general, if you have to look for the entries from 75-minute perspective, then whenever you see the biggest red candle coming in at the bottom, which is the highest volume red candle, then look out for whenever you have a closing above this. So when you get the closing above the biggest red candle with the highest volumes, that is a potential signal that the trend might have just changed. So when this came and it failed to sustain and it closed above 2340, and the volumes are also looking very decent here, so these can also be potential entry points. Then it went up, looking out for, then, so previously we knew 2640 was a strong support. I mean, it hit 2640 3 times. There was lots of tops here. So automatically it starts becoming a support. So when it came to 2640, then again it started, let's see, the volume here was low, but when this candle came, the volume was also decent enough. So I took a long here at around 27, 15, 27, 10 region. Around this region, I took a long. And yeah, the objective would be somewhere around this region, 2950 to 3000 region. Let's see how much it gives. So this is an open position right now. In Tata Consumer, yeah, lots of trades in Tata Consumer. So see, Tata Consumer previously the highs were around this region only, 390, 400 region. The pre-COVID high is also around 390, 400, and then here also it was making a lot of highs. It broke that, went up, came down, and then started taking support here at the same level of 400. This green candles comes in with good volumes. So good green candle with good volumes go long, and then target the previous high. The high happened, broke it. Then it broke the high, it went up, came down again. A green candle with very good volumes at the previous high. Again, take a long, book it around here itself. So lots of trades can keep happening in the same stock. So this is one thing of finding out stocks which are coming at a support and trading them. Another thing to do in the same set of stocks is to find out if they have been trading in a range for a while, and then they do a big breakout and make a new all-time high with very very good volumes. So there is another kind of trade to take. Let's say I take an example of JV Chem Farm. So look at this. When it made this high, it has been trading in this range since a lot of time, and here it wasn't doing anything, not much activity. But then this big green candle came. It broke the high with very very huge volumes and a big green candle. So when something is trading in the range at the top for a long time and it breaks that range and makes a new all-time high, so that is another kind of trade to take, wherein you take this trade at the breakout at the new all-time high, then again target 8% from here, and your stop loss becomes a close below the breakout candle itself. I mean, all the close below the just previous support. So previous, I would say, take this support itself, 730. Lots of bottoms at 730. The immediate previous support. So take long here at the breakout 768 and target, I think around 815, 820 would have been the booking point for this. So again, this will also happen. Now again, wait for it to give good green candles around this support region itself, around 750. So one bottom here, multiple bottoms here. So 755, 760 has become a good support now. So on this support region itself, let's see if a big green engulfing candle. So these green candles, usually they should be engulfing for them to work the best. I mean, this wasn't an engulfing candle, so we don't really count it, and also there are not much volumes in it. So let's wait for, if the support has been made, let's wait for a good green engulfing candle with good volumes to come in, so that we go along and target the new highs at around 830 region. So two broad kind of trades to look at. First is if clicking within the range and the breakout happens, can go long at the breakout candle, target 8%. Second is can when the support is being made, look for good green candles on the support, and ideally it should be that the high is at least 8-10% away, so that you can achieve and target for that much. So this is from a swing trading perspective. Now if you talk about long-term investment, I would say taking the same investments in these stocks, so you can have a separate DMAT portfolio, separate DMAT account for a long-term investment, so that it doesn't interfere with your short-term trading. So the point to go long for long-term investment is the moment the stock hit its all-time high. So let's start looking at this from the weekly charts now. Okay, so from the weekly chart, I see that the pre-COVID high of this is like around 600 levels. So it fell down, and in May itself, it broke the high 600. So the moment it breaks the high 600, and we know Nifty is significantly below its high. So that's the momentum thing that I'm talking about. It is having a lot of momentum. It is hitting the high much before Nifty. So this is the point to go high. So at 600 itself, just go long and hold it in the long term portfolio and keep holding till the time it stops hitting the highs along with Nifty. Now that is a long time away. So from a long term investment, this is already up 30% from there. Now you can do this similar thing for most of the stocks, and you will be surprised. Some of them have run up so much. Example, IOLCP. So IOL Chemicals, the pre-COVID high was around 300 only, and it hits again. It also hit its high, new all-time high in May itself. But from 300 now, it is already up at 750. So this is already up 150%, and it's still a trade. It's still a good trade going on. Let's see. Gujarat Gas. Okay, Gujarat Gas, it has just broken its previous high. So even if you have taken a trade 306, it can still get scratched. So nothing has happened here. Granules. Let's see what Granules has done. So Granules, the previous high was at 185 only, and it hit the new high in month of June, starting June. From 185 now, it is already up to 350, almost 350 now. And this is still a good trade going on. No problem at all. Dixon. So look at Dixon, the previous highs. It was at 4800 only, previous to COVID. 4800. It made its new all-time high in May end, and you go long at 4800 itself, and it's from 48 it is at 8500 now, and keep holding. So you can identify lots of long-term holding opportunities, stocks which can go up easily 70, 80, 100%, 200%, and these are the future multipliers which you are seeing right here automatically. Let's see Biocon. So Biocon, this was the region 340. I can say 340 region was the previous highs. The moment it hits the new highs in April itself, around 350, go down. So from 350, it's still at 420. It's already 20% up from there, and much more to go. Same thing, Coromandel. Coromandel, the high is at 640. Go long at the high 640. and hold. It's at 740, almost 20% up right now. And let's see how much more it goes. So the advantage you get is that on an overall long-term portfolio, some of the stocks would be up 20-30%, some of the stocks would be up 70-80-100%. On average, your portfolio would have been up by 50% easily. And when is the time to start booking these? When we see them that Nifty is making new highs, but these are failing to go with the Nifty. These are not making the new highs. That's the time to get out of them.
And what if Nifty makes new lows?
If Nifty makes new lows,
Uh,
um,
मतलब in in the situation we have another crash, then should we book whatever profit we have and wait for another entry?
so that is usually very difficult to identify that another crash is coming. So ideally, in that event, what I usually do is get just find out what was the most immediate support before it broke the high, and that itself becomes your stop loss. So example, I can consider that 620 is the immediate support before Coromandel made the high. So I will keep a stop loss of 620 on this. So if it breaks 620, it hit my stop loss, so I will get out of it.
Okay.
And then again repeat the same process. So it's a rinse and repeat. Again, when Nifty against bottoms, again start looking for stocks which are hitting the highs. So it's quite possible that the next time there is a completely new set of stocks which are going up. It's quite possible the previous ones that you held are not going up anymore. So your complete watch list would have changed.
So you were mentioning on the group that you went 4 times into Nestle, but it didn't throw a result, right? So
Hmm.
what went on there? Like,
Yeah, let's see. So actually, what happened is Nestle has been making a good support at around 16,000, 16,100 region. So 16,000, this region has been coming out of a good support. Now, when I start seeing good green candles coming in here with good volumes,
hmm,
so I started taking the positions. So one position I took was around this region only. That good green candle, the volumes were also decent here. So I took at 16,600, but it wasn't going up. So then I tried to take a position again here when the volumes were very good at around 16,400 region, good volumes coming with good green candle. Again, nothing happened. Probably, yeah. So then finally it went down, it broke below 16,000, so it hit the stop loss. So I exited the positions here, and then it again came back up. So so it again came back to my buying prices 1600. So again I thought, okay, let's try, let's take one more entry and see if it works out this time. And if it fails this time also, then that's probably it with Nestle. Then I'm mostly done with it. So you will also have many times the setup would fail you that it is showing all the signs of the good green candle with good volumes but still unable to go up. So you will have a few instances where your stop losses get hit and you are just taken out of the trade.
that's why risk to reward is there, right? So like that will cover the losses since you only take trades with good R2R.
Correct. So it's a matter of two things: having a good risk reward and also having a good probability in your favor. So doing the same thing with momentum stocks helps me to keep the probability in my favor. That I am pretty confident that 70% of the trades that I take should result in a profit to me. 30% will definitely either hit a stop loss, or I will just scratch it because I would I wouldn't feel very confident. Either the entry was mistimed or I misread the charts. So based on it, either I would scratch it or just get stopped out. So probability, and the profitability both should be in your favor to be consistently making good profits in the long run. So I had absolutely no problems. I mean, even if I lost what? So 16,400 entry and taken stopped out at 15,900 region. So it's a 500 rupees loss, which is on three, and 500 to 600 loss. So it's a 3% to 4% loss only, which is absolutely fine.
It has been a lot to absorb for me. So like
Right.
this is the only reason I'm quiet. So
Yeah, okay, take your time. Take your time. Frame your questions.
no, I think most of my questions will come on Monday when I actually try to analyze some, or maybe when I sit down and analyze. So since I got the idea of how you're trading, so what I believe in trading is like discipline matters a lot, and this is a system that shows that discipline can earn a lot in it. So it's well defined, and I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never saw stocks like this, to be honest. Like I always saw it as companies, but like this makes much more sense. It's a new perspective totally.
Yeah.
And I realized that I should exit Reliance right now. Like it is not really carrying going with Nifty right now. So
Why? I mean, Reliance is a good stock to hold for long term. It is hitting continuously new
yeah, no,
highs.
I think I can make a partial exit. So it let me
Partial
know.
exit, yeah.
So
Yes.
I
Partial
was
exit,
thinking.
definitely.
So I just realized because you said right, Nifty has been going up for a long time since August, but Reliance has flattened out. So I think a partial exit is a good choice right now. So
So the way I look at it is that Reliance is already way ahead of Nifty because Nifty is not at its all-time high yet, but Reliance is almost
yeah.
30% higher than its previous all-time high.
Hmm.
So that way, if I look at it, Reliance has a lot of momentum going on to it. I
Yeah.
would be concerned if Nifty is back to 12,400 levels and Reliance has not made a new high then. Then I would say that yeah, it's time to exit.
Hmm. Okay.
But it's quite possible that Reliance is just consolidating and then the next move it just shoots up
Breaks
again
out
to
again.
22, 23, 2400 levels. Yeah,
Hmm.
quite possible. In fact, lots of trades happen in Reliance also. So even from a long-term perspective, if you talk, then going long at 1600 itself was also a good point. I mean, just you could have just gone long at 1600 the moment it made a new all-time high, much before Nifty.
Yeah.
So Reliance, this was a good trade that I took right here itself. So look at this. So the previous highs were around here, and it fell down. One green candle but with low volumes. Second green candle with very high volumes go long. So this is where I went wrong and then just booked right at the high here at 2190. So go long at the support, book at the previous high. Very quick. I mean, this was a 1 day trade only.
Yeah. I can see.
I took it today, the next day itself it just booked out. Done with it. So this, look at this. So around entry around what 2060 levels somewhere around these regions. 206070 to 2190, almost 130 rupees. A very quick trade. Tata Consumer. Look at the way to identify Tata Consumer. How it's a good long-term holding stock. So the moment it broke 400, this was a time to go long in it long term. So 400 to 560, it's already up 40% for a long-term portfolio. Now people will keep debating that we can go long only in the good stocks, good stocks. I mean, I agree. You can do that, but they should show momentum also. Now, I mean, there are numerous people who have been holding ITC since a long time, hoping for it to go up, but it's not happening. So
Yeah.
I have I have absolutely no qualms against ITC. It's just that it's not fitting my investment thesis right now, so I'm not getting in it at all. No short-term trades, no long-term trades. The time to trade ITC was a very different time. So throughout history, you look at the various different times when Nifty fell a lot and then see what set of stocks were going up at that time. So let's say if you analyze this period, the post demonetization period, okay. So Nifty came from 9,000 to 8,000 post the demonetization. Then you look at 2017. Okay. Or it could be this major fall also. So when this major fall happened in Nifty, okay. So this is around Feb of 2016. So start looking at that time. What were the set of stocks which were hitting their all-time highs when Nifty was around this region? When Nifty had just started its recovery. So let's say Nifty was at around 7,800, 8,000 region in May and June of 2016, and those stocks were already at their all-time highs. And see how they did later. So that gives you the list of stocks to have been traded at that time. And HDFC Bank, which was the favorite at that time, comes into mind very easily. See, compare how HDFC was doing at that time. This was a time that Nifty fell a lot and HDFC didn't fall at all. It just took a support at, it just gave a very good green candle at its previous support. So in fact, from a weekly chart perspective also, if anyone wanted to go long in February, from a weekly perspective, this was a good entry. But then look at this. Previous high at 560 and immediately in April, HDFC Bank made a new high when Nifty was still at 7,800 levels only.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it's at 560, you just go long and hold it and see the next result. So this is what tells you that this was a time HDFC Bank had lots of momentum to it. So this was a time to go long in it and keep holding HDFC Bank, keep holding. And probably now I see that HDFC Bank is lagging the Nifty. I mean, it fell, but it is unable to go up along with Nifty. It is still significantly away from its highs, whereas Nifty is probably less than 10% away from the high now.
Yes.
So here I see that HDFC Bank is now lagging the Nifty significantly. So this is a time to book. So what that long you have taken in 2016 at 560 levels right here, this is a time to book that long. So from 560 to 1120, almost these levels. This is a time to say, yeah, okay, it's done. It's not hitting its highs anymore. And it's lagging the Nifty. So as soon as it starts lagging the Nifty, that's when you book out. Till this time, it was continuously hitting new highs with Nifty. So at this point, Nifty was at its all-time high. HDFC Bank was also continuously making the new highs. But now it has stopped doing that. So from a long-term perspective, it is done. Now I don't expect any major move to happen in HDFC Bank.
This is insane, man. Like you're way too good. Like
Now do the same thing in 2009 crash also. See what happened in 2009 crash. And every 3 years every 2 to 3 years Nifty will give a very good long-term opportunity to you. 2009 was one opportunity, 2011-12 was one opportunity, 2015 was another, 16 was another opportunity, then 2020 is another opportunity. So every time you will keep getting opportunities. Now see what Nifty was going. Post the 2009 crash, everything crashed, alright. Nifty started recovering. So around June of 2009, Nifty is somewhere at 4,000. Around June of 2010, Nifty is at around 5,000. So this is still more than 20% below its highs. So you identify stocks which are already hit their all-time highs in this time period and those are the stocks which would have gone significantly up. And the poster buy of the previous bull market, Bajaj Finance. Let's analyze how Bajaj Finance did in the same time period. See, so this was a 2009 crash. I mean, it fell a lot from 50 rupees to 5 rupees, gets a 90% fall. But we are not really concerned with the fall. The point is that look at when it is making a new high. So by July of 2010, Bajaj Finance was already back at all-time highs, and Nifty is still 20% down from the high. So this tells me that okay, this stock is going to lead the market now. So this itself is one potential trigger to go long on Bajaj Finance at around 55 levels in July 2010. Okay. Then it went up, then again in 2011 Nifty started falling, but Bajaj Finance didn't even fall below its previous. So the highs that it made previously, it started taking support at those highs itself. Nifty was falling, Bajaj Finance would fall to the support, rise up, fall to the support, again rise up. And then again look at this period. So this is what? March of 2012, Bajaj Finance is again at its new all-time highs in April 2012, you can say, when Nifty is still not there. Nifty is still not at its new all-time high. So if you would have missed a 53 point year in 2010, then going long at 87 was the second opportunity for you to go long in Bajaj Finance in 2012. And then so it just kept going up, kept going up, kept going up, kept going up, kept going up. Continuously at every high, every time with Nifty continuously make new highs. And now I see that okay, with the fall, it went up, but it is lagging the Nifty significantly. So this is a time to get out of Bajaj Finance. So the trade that you took in 2010 or 2012, this is a time to get out after 8 to 10 years, from 80 rupees to 3600. So that's how you hold the stocks for a complete long term. Now this is done. Now in the next 10 years, I don't expect Bajaj Finance to do anything. It would most probably lag the Nifty. Look at Hindustan Unilever 2009. So look at this time, what Unilever was doing. Nifty had an insane bull run from 2003 to 2007. This period was an insane bull run for Nifty, but Unilever didn't even make its new all-time high. So this was a very bad time to trading Unilever. I mean, there were numerous other stocks which went up 20, 50 times during this time frame, but Unilever didn't do anything. It didn't even make a high, and its previous high was at around 320 regions. But then look at what happened here, 2010-2011 regions. 2011, Unilever made a new high at 320, much before Nifty did. So after this 12-year long consolidation from 1999 to 2011, 12 years, it did absolutely nothing. After this long consolidation, when Unilever gave a signal that it is making a new all-time high much before Nifty, so this is the time to go long here, at around 320, 330 regions on Unilever, and then just keep holding. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. And I mean, Unilever also made a new high here. Now I see that it made the high, fell down again. It tried to go back but fell down. Now if Nifty hits 12,500 and Unilever fails to hit a new high, this would be the booking point. So that trade you took in 2012 at 320, 330 regions, this is a time to book Unilever at 7x gains. Finally, that's the time it is showing that it is lagging Nifty. It is not making new highs. Till this time, it was continuously making new highs along with Nifty. And even look at the 2015-16 region. This was the fall. This was the time when Nifty was falling continuously. But Unilever didn't fall much here also. And immediately afterwards, it again started making new highs. So this is your watching point now. Now this low has become very significant. If Unilever breaks this low, then it's time to get out. If Unilever doesn't make a new high along with when Nifty hits 12,500, it's time to get out. And then probably then leave it. Then next 10 years, don't expect anything to happen in these stocks. So these were the leaders of the previous bull market. They had their run. They are done now. The next bull market always starts with a new sector with a new set of leaders, which right now would be, you would see them as small caps and mid caps, but eventually over time they will go on to become very large caps.
So in
So
essence,
depending,
okay, you can continue. No, I was just summing it up. Like, so in essence, we are trying to capture stocks that are leading the index and but are giving a good entry point right now.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
So from a long-term perspective, find out stocks which are leading the index, go long in them for a whole, very long-term time period, and then do short-term trading also in those stocks only because they have the momentum with them.
Yeah.
So keep them as separate portfolios because if you keep doing it in one demat only, it will be very, very
Very messy.
problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your capital gains also would be messed up.
Hmm.
So that's the broad objective. And then depending on the market cycles, your stocks will change completely. I mean, if I look at, let's say, Havels, uh, do I have Havels? Yeah, I have Havels on there. Let's see what Havels was doing around this region. Look, 2016, in April itself, here, sorry, around this, April itself, Havels made a new all-time high, like 350. And I mean, 2015 is in fact way behind. You could have gotten an entry right here itself in Havels. So this was the previous high, 72, and then it broke the high in August of 2010 itself. It broke the high and just stabilized here for some time. So this itself, 70, 75, 80 region itself was a good high to go on for a long-term perspective. So it stabilized, and then again, same thing, Havels, significantly lagging. In fact, Havels started lagging the Nifty right here itself. In August of 2019 also, Nifty was at its new all-time high this period. But Havels failed to make a new high here. So this itself was the exit point for Havels, right here in September 2019. That's where it showed that it is already lagging the Nifty. So if I look at Nifty right here, so see June and then again, yeah, November, December 2019, Nifty again made a new high, whereas Havels had already shown that it is not making. So that itself was the time to realize that it is lagging the Nifty now, so just exit. November, December time, here Nifty was at its new high and Havels is significantly below the high, not making new highs along with Nifty. So exit at 700. And that's it done. And now you can see it fell down, it's not recovering, it's lagging the Nifty significantly. Now these are not the stocks to trade in to look at from long-term perspective. They are done, man. Their prime period is over. It's always going to be a new set of stocks which are going to lead the next bull market significantly.
Hmm.
And people will be left holding with these stocks and then they will think that, okay, the stock market is not giving them good returns,
Yeah.
why are they not
It's
going up?
rigged. It's rigged. Basically, they'll say.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that peak is over. You are trading the stocks of the previous bull market. They never come back in favor so soon. I mean, it takes at least 15, 20 years for the cycle to completely turn. I mean, you can observe the same thing in US also. In the US, you see the tech sector is having a significant bull run.
Yeah.
So just see what the tech sector is doing. So look at any of this one. Let's say Apple itself. Look at where they have started hitting new highs. So this was the pre-COVID high, 81, and it hit a new high in June 20 itself. So go long at 81. If you would have missed all of this, go long at 81. It is still at 120, 50% returns. Still. And if you look at some of the smaller names, so if I look at DocuSign, from 90 it is already at 216 and it made a high of around what 280. So I mean it broke its high of 90 in April itself. Go long, it is already up what 1.5 times. So you look at Coupa. So Coupa is at what 173 high, it broke, it's at 285. You look at Amazon also. High of no, Amazon pre-COVID high was this only 2200. Go long at 2200, it's at 3300, 50% more. Look at ServiceNow, again same thing, 350 to 450. Nvidia, same thing, 320 to 500. Tesla, the biggest one,
Yeah.
even 185 to 400. So it's a simple thing. It works across markets, globally, across sectors, everything. Just find out the stocks which are leading the index. It's as simple as that. Look at Zoom. I mean, everyone knows Zoom is going good, doing good. Yeah, just look at the pre-COVID high was 160. No, in fact, not even 160. The pre-COVID high was 120 itself, and it
And
broke that immediately.
never fell
In,
actually.
in
Yeah.
and it never fell. So 120 itself was your high. 120 to 370 now, three times already. Look at Zscaler. So Zscaler, this was the high 88. It broke 88 to 134. So on average, everything is up 50-60%. Some of them are up almost 300%. Look at Shopify. Shopify, man, crazy. This was the high 580 to 970. Look at Netflix. Again, 416 is the high. 416 to 516. 25% could be not much, but that's okay. Microsoft 186 to 214. Another 25%. I mean, the risk is just endless.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand
Adobe
that. Yeah.
377 to 490 Adobe. And I mean, I am assuming that you are going long in them right now after this. Most of these stocks have been in an uptrend since a long, long time. I mean,
Yeah.
their actual buying points are what? I mean, this has been continuously going up only. Adobe. Yeah, so probably their actual buying points are somewhere in 2013-14 itself, in this region
Yeah.
itself. So this is for someone who has missed the complete bus and even going long now. So that works for US, it works for India, it works everywhere. Everywhere it's the same story. Always find the stocks which are leading. That's it. And trade them only short term, trade them, invest only in them long term. So then automatically that search for the multi-baggers is automatically done. And you wouldn't even realize that you're holding multi-baggers. They will automatically become multi-baggers.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a few basic filters that they shouldn't be very, very shady companies. So a few basic fundamental checks. That's about it. Then the market tells you everything. If the stock has to fall, it will show you that it is falling and it will hit your stop losses. So you don't have anything to worry about. Even in the short term trading, so if you keep thinking that what if the market falls down? So if it falls down, your stop losses would get hit. And once the stop losses hit, you won't get any new entries only. Because what is the criteria to get new entries? It should be at the support level and we should get good green candles with good volumes. If the stock is falling a lot, so if you look at the fall time of Nifty pre-COVID, so in this time, even in Nifty, where do you see good green candles with good I mean, Nifty doesn't have volume, so it doesn't really count. But if in this time also you look at individual stocks, let's say if you want to go long in SDFC Bank only during this fall time period, so here in this fall itself, Where do you see good green candles with good volumes to give you a long point? Probably here, probably at 11:15, probably. But so yeah, even if you went long at 11:15, probably this was one point. You would have been stopped out right here itself at 1060, and then. So even if you think that you would have gotten trades, but you would have stopped. And one more thing, one more very important thing to point out, that you take long at one green candle when you see that the gradient is an up, so the stock is an uptrend. So in an uptrend, you look for one green candle, but if you look and see that the gradient is down, then you wait for two green candles because you want a confirmation also. One candle can occur anytime, so you wait for the second green candle to give you the confirmation. So again, SDFC Bank, I wouldn't have gone long here because the second confirmation candle never came. And look at the gradient at this time, it has already turned down. I don't see the gradient to be up. So by the system itself, you would not get any trades in this whole downturn. And you would have probably, if you would have been long somewhere here, you would have been stopped out around this region, somewhere this region itself, you would have been stopped out. So your stop losses got hit, that's it. Then you are out of the whole fall. Because the system itself is not giving you any entry point. So if you just be disciplined, stick
Yeah,
to the system,
I think it's
automatically,
just a lot of it rests on your entry basically. Otherwise, you'll
yeah,
just hit your stop loss and escape out. So
yeah, yeah.
I can't wait for Monday, like just to sit down and look at like do all like I'm more of a person who likes to learn practically. So like
Hmm.
I would want to identify and like at,
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we keep doing in our Discord channel. So
I was
everyone
actually not able to
keeps
understand, but
identifying
now
the.
yeah, but now I'll
Hmm.
probably be more interactive in it. So I felt very detached from like how are you finding these stocks? What are the criteria?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
probably
So
from
that's why we keep discussing ideas that what is a good stock to go long, how to look about it. So example, when I said that I enter Abort again,
hmm,
so one thing look at why Abort was a good entry. So it already had it made its high, and after that, if I look at the daily chart, so look at this period. So two green candles with good volumes on the daily chart. So on the daily chart itself, this is a good entry point, 15,500. And then again, now look here. Again, it seems to be giving a good green candle, but look at the 75-minute charts also. 75-minute charts, this is a very good green candle if I look at it.
yeah, yeah,
With very decent enough volumes also, which is much more than the previous candle volumes. So this automatically became my entry point. I entered at 16,550 only, around this region only. I went long. Let's see what happens. My target is previous highs at around 18,000 to 18,500 region. If it hits that, all well and good. If it doesn't, my stop loss is very clear. These are the support points, 16,000, let's say 16,000 itself. So my stop loss is 550 rupees, 3.5%. I don't mind it. You get Bhagat Rasayang, Bhagat Rasayang, Bhagat Rasayang. I've taken a lot of trades in this. You get this region. Very simple analysis. So it went up, made its highs, it made a support around this region, and then look at this green candle. Good green candle, good volumes, go long, 9400. So from 9400, even if you target 8%, so 10,200 becomes your booking point. Decent enough.
yeah,
So you got the booking point right then and there. Again, look at it. It fell down again. This big green candle again came. Go long at 9900. Then this time you can target the previous high at 10,700. So 9900, 10,700. Go long, book, done. Now wait. Now you are waiting because now there is no green candle with good volumes which is giving you an entry. So just wait.
yeah.
And always be on the lookout for these. So these big, probably gap out rectangles with huge volumes.
Hmm.
Big rectangles with huge volumes which are gap down. So be on the lookout for this. These becomes very significant levels. So
Okay.
there are two ways to look into this. for Bharat Rasayan to go back to its previous high of 11,600, it has to give a good closing above this. So
Hmm.
one way to look at it is as soon as it closes above 10,300, I will know that the trend has reversed, and from there I can target the previous high. Another way to look at this is since now this is a very high resistance levels, if I get a trade much below it, I can target that trade profit booking to be at these levels only. So example, if I have to get a trade here in Bharat Rasayan now at these levels, my booking point would be 10,200 only, because this
Okay.
becomes a strong resistance. And
Yeah.
then if it continues the momentum and closes above this candle with good volumes, then that can become a potential new entry trade. So that can be a new entry trade which we can target the high again. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm hoping that somehow, sometime in the future, I will get an entry because this is like a very good support. I mean, lots
Yeah,
of
yeah. It's now
previous bottoms
just
here.
you are waiting for one good entry point here.
Yeah,
If it comes, well and
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, get an idea of it. Like so, I will actually try to. Actually, this I can do without Monday also actually. So I will try to identify some things for Monday and then try to participate in discussions to learn more
Yeah.
and see like. But like, there's a lot of information to absorb. So
Yeah, yeah, it takes time. It takes time. I mean,
it's a
things
new it's
will.
a new perspective to trading totally. Like to be honest. So as
Yeah.
I said before, so yeah. But I hope like I can I can make some strides here. So
Yeah.
you were very good in explaining it. So just saying like so many examples with like exact like identification points.
Yeah. Thank you. Night Rider, is your Wi-Fi working back on now?
I don't think it is. I have
Yeah.
recorded. I
Yes.
have
Yes.
recorded the session. So in
Okay.
case if he needs it, then we can give it to him.
Yeah, and the good thing is now that we have a community of people, like-minded people on this server. So everyone you see on the server has already gone through all of this
Hmm.
and is quite aware of it. And people are actively looking for opportunities, looking to trade it.
Hmm.
So you will see very healthy discussions going on here on many of the stocks.
So that's what I'm saying. Like from next Monday, I'll be fully into this. So like I'll be trying to
Hmm.
participate more. So since now I
Yeah,
actually have an idea what is going on, it's gonna be really helpful. So
yeah.
uh, I think I took a lot of your time. So it's like 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean,
Thank you for
usually,
doing this.
usually the sessions are this long only. So what I usually do is whenever a new batch of mentees comes in,
Hmm.
so first Saturday I take a session, then second Saturday again I take a session, and then after that we have a session every 2 weeks, can every alternate
Okay.
Saturday.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
So Saturday 4 p.m. is the fixed time we meet. So
Well,
then we meet after every 2 weeks.
okay. So I think like since we'll stay in touch in Discord anyway, so that'll
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
discussion. So
yeah.
I'm glad you did it with like just one person right now. So I was so scared that like it might get cancelled. So
No, 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 no. I mean, it doesn't matter.
so
Ah,
I will like post a recording of this on the group, and after that like I will if I analyze anything, I'll run it by pass you to verify it once, and just carry on. If I have any doubts, I'll ping you on the Discord channel itself.
all
That's
right.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knight Rider, are you there? Like one last attempt to contact him. I
Yeah,
assume.
I
So yeah.
guess.
Okay, how long have you been trading? Just one last question. Like, so just to get an idea.
How long have I been what?
Trading, investing or trading? Like,
I have been doing since almost 9 years now.
yeah, because like I was really impressed that you were pulling up examples from very like historical examples very easily. So,
Yeah. I've been looking at the market since a long time, so I know what happened in those time periods. I
hmm,
wasn't trading it this way because there was nobody to explain it to me this way. I
Okay.
took a lot of time to finally try out multiple numerous strategies to finally see that, oh yeah, this is the way to look at markets.
Yeah. So
So it took me my whole decade to finally start looking at the markets this way.
wow. But like there is so much to absorb, man. Like it's insane that you're self-taught, to be honest. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thanks for helping me. Like so, well, I
So
guess
I was looking at the markets, I was looking at the stocks which were in a bull run at that time. And now if I look at the charts of those and correlate with the strategy, now things become clear that why they were the bull market leaders at that time, why they were continuously going up so much.
yeah,
So now everything falls in perspective. And then
yeah.
now using it to apply the same principles, and it's been going very good so far. I mean, post the COVID crash,
Hmm.
it's been going very good.
That's great to hear. But like
Yeah.
that's what. So I hope like I'm able to absorb it and like it's just a lot of information right now. I'm still processing it. I'm still thinking about charts. So
Yeah, that usually happens. It's
yeah.
okay. It will happen over again. No worries. Okay, alright gang. Have a nice weekend.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll see you on Monday on Discord then. Okay. Thank you for this again. Yeah.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye bye.